What's good, fellas? This is Trey. Welcome to this presentation. Today, I want to talk about understanding women. Okay, one thing we got to understand is we don't want to pay attention too much to what a woman says. We want to focus more on what she does, right? We want to focus more on her actions, her body language, right? You know, the look in her eye, not her words, because this is a huge mistake that men make, and I've made it myself. And if you listen to what they say over their actions, you will be confused. You will make mistakes. You will, read them incorrectly, and you'll be frustrated, man, because you're not gonna do too well with them. So, one of the things that's coming to mind is, I had a conversation with one of my boys the other day, and he was telling me how, he was in the car with this girl. He's chilling with this girl in the car, and at some point, this is a girl that kind of has him in the friend zone. But like at some point, she said something about, oh, I have my tits hurt or something's going on with my tits, right? And he was like, oh, really? Yeah. And she was like, yeah, you should you want to feel it? Look. And then she took his hand and made him feel her tit. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because we need to pay attention to, as I said, we need to pay attention to what a woman does and not what she says. If a woman takes a man's hand and puts it on her tit, and the man doesn't respond as a man, at that moment you become a woman, right? So basically my boy, his response to that was very womanly, very feminine. She put his hand on her tit and he was just like, oh yeah, I see, and then he took it off. Now, if it was me and she put my hand on her tit, best believe that would have led to something else, okay? Why is that? Because I pay attention to a woman's actions, not her words. If her action is to put my hand on her tit, she knows that I'm a man, okay? And she knows that her tit is a sexual part of her body, and she's putting my hand there, right? That's a test, right? That is a test, okay? And my boy wasn't able to read that because he was just listening to the words. He was thinking that she's being serious right now. Oh, I can, she wants me to touch her tit to check to see what she, if it's hurting or whatever the hell she was saying. But she was actually testing him. I know this for a fact because women are not stupid, okay? They know what they're doing, but they would test you to see if you know what they're doing, right? They're testing to see, oh, is this guy alpha? Is this guy experienced with women? Or is he beta? Is he a nice guy? Or is he, right? So when she did that, that was actually a test. He didn't realize it, but that was actually a test, and he actually helped her confirm why she had him in the friend zone, because he's a friend, right? He wasn't being alpha. He wasn't taking the lead, right? That should have been a sexual interaction, but it wasn't, because he accepted the frame of a friend, right? Because of her words, because of how she was talking. But you got to pay attention to the actions, and if you're not able to recognize the difference, there's a incongruency between. You'll notice the incongruency between a woman's words and her actions a lot of times. If we're talking about attraction, right? Like if it's friendly shit, sometimes there may be some consistency there. But when it comes to attraction is this thing that's going on that it's not necessarily something we're controlling. It's not like we say, I want to be attracted to this girl, or I want to feel attraction right now. It's something that just happens, right? Based on behaviors, based on the situation, based on the emotional connection, stuff like that. So once you have that understanding, you can play the game properly, okay? We need to understand that a woman's attraction is something that we can actually trigger. And she may say one thing through her communication, but we need to pay attention to her body language, right? Her body gives us signals. Like she does things, flip her hair, there's this thing they do where they will move their legs like this, I heard I heard it's because their pussy's getting wet. Like they'll start moving their legs and stuff. Like if you're, you know, having a certain type of conversation and you're turning her on, you'll see that. Right? But we as men, we need to be, that's why you need to be grounded in your masculinity. Because when you're grounded, you can relax and you can actually see her body language. Like you're not stuck in your head. You can see when she's doing certain things, when her body language may be contradicting her words. Okay? And you can play the game properly. Right? And you're not attached to the outcome. You're detached from the outcome because you understand the game. You understand how the game is played, man. It's like we need to put these mindsets in our brain so when we're interacting with the woman, we can just flow and relax and enjoy it. Right? Is the reason why guys are so stuck in their head and stuff is because they haven't internalized these concepts. They haven't internalized the understanding of how female nature works, of how attraction works. Once it's internalized, you can really enjoy this game. It's a game, you know, this game between men and women. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun, but it's not fun when you don't, when the concepts and understandings are not internalized, because you're always going to be stuck in your head. Or what do I do next? Or what do I say? Oh, this and that, this and that. You know. So my boy, interesting enough, he's not the type of guy who studies female nature. He's not the type of guy who does these things that I do. And so that's why he's struggling. That's why he was in the car with a girl, and she told him, oh, my tit hurts or whatever, and she put his hand on his tit and nothing happened, right? Because he's listening to her words, not paying attention to what her body language and what she did. That was a goddamn shit test if there ever was one, right? Because and he told me, she was like, I think she was going through some type of breakup during that time too. So she was testing him to see if he was a potential candidate, but he wasn't demonstrating any alpha characteristics. She wants an alpha. She wants an alpha man. She wants a masculine man. She doesn't want a man that she has to teach how to be a man. She doesn't want a man that can't take the lead, that doesn't understand female nature. Right? That's no fun for her. Right? Those type of men are all over her DMs. Right? If she wanted those kind of men, she could get them. She wants an alpha, and the alpha is not all over her DMs. The alpha is out doing his shit. The alpha is out slaying dragons. He's getting women. Okay? And the alpha understands women. Okay? And some of them don't really understand women. They just don't give a fuck. And that's actually better. Okay? It's better for you. It's either you want to understand women, right? Like if I didn't understand women, I'd want to be the guy who just doesn't give a fuck. That's great. But you don't want to be the guy who doesn't understand women and you give a fuck. Like that was my boy. Like he gives a fuck. Like he wants to get the girl and he doesn't understand her. How the fuck are you gonna get something if you don't understand it? Right? But if you don't give a fuck, then that's because that's a vibe. Like that's a vibe. When you don't give a fuck, that's a vibe. That's actually very alpha, because alphas don't give a fuck. Not because they don't like women, but because they have an abundance mindset. Right? Like they're already fucking girls. They already got women, you know what I mean? So it's like when they're dealing with women, they're not so attached to the outcome, because they can walk away because they have the abundance, right? So the advice for this video is, we as men, we need to understand, we need to pay attention to women's actions. Like if a woman's making promises, I had to cut a woman off the other day because she, and there's different levels of attraction, but basically, you know, me where I'm at right now, there's certain bullshit I'm not gonna deal with. Like if a girl is not complying with my standards and how I like to run my interactions, I'll cut her off. Okay? Why? Because abundance mindset, right? There's one of me, there's plenty of women. So I'm not going to kind of like stick around hoping to get a woman, because she's not, you know, no offense, but like this, they're not bringing that much value, man. Like especially if you're not trying to have a kid. Like let's think about it. The woman's main value is her replication value, which means her ability to give you a child. But if you don't want a child, she doesn't really have that much value. We just have to be real about it, okay? Like, it's not like she can give you great conversation. You could get great conversation from your boys. The only thing she can give you, honestly, bruh, is pussy and ass and you know what I mean, sex, essentially, okay? But what if you're alpha? What if you're alpha and you're out there getting women consistently, right? Like, consistently. Now, when you look at a woman, it's like, it's a joke, because it's like that if you're already getting tons of pussy or whatever, it's like, What are you bringing to the table? And so the focus is like, let's say you're not getting tons of pussy. The focus should be on abundance. So instead of focusing on one woman, because even if you get one woman, right? I guess you could say that's better than no women. I don't know. Because if you get one woman and she's into you, but you don't have any other women, then when this woman starts fucking up, now you're gonna be attached to the outcome, and you're like, oh, she doesn't like me. Oh no, now you're in a depression. You're trying to make her like you, and then she might be messing with some other dude behind your back, and it's just ridiculous, man. Like I'm telling you, this is the intelligent strategy of a man is to create abundance, and then if you wanna, hell, if you wanna have a monogamous relationship, just make sure you still got your abundance lined up somehow. Right? So if she starts acting up, you can walk away and actually have some options waiting for you. Because that was a mistake I made with my last girlfriend, is when I got with her, I cut off all the other girls, I cut off my shit. And then when we were going through this breakup, that shit was horrible for me because I didn't have any abundance created. So now I was like, have to build it from ground one. And it was just like, you know what I mean? My game was kind of rusty, and it wasn't good, man. And so I learned from that. I learned from that experience, right? Because this is a girl that I would never have thought it would have ended the way how it ended, but it did, okay? Because that's female nature. And we, you know, when we get with a girl, we gotta understand that she's doing certain things to like get us caught up emotionally and shit, to start to think, oh, she's so special. She would never do this to me. She would never, you know, turn on me or backstab me or get with another guy, whatever. But that's just the emotions that are, you know, the what's it called? The like the chemicals in your head, like trying to make you feel like you're in love and shit like that, because that's how nature, you know, set the game up, right? Because if we don't feel these things for the woman, we won't want to deal with them, right? Like that, women are smart. They know that they're not that great. That's why they put on so much makeup and ass shots and big tits and this and that, because they're not that great. If you take all that shit off, there's nothing there. Like, facts, man, there's nothing there. That's why they do all that shit. So it just makes sense. But we as men, we're not doing all that stupid shit, oh, makeup and all that shit. We build real character, right? We show up with real value, real skills, real, you know what I mean? And so that's why I said we gotta carry ourselves like kings. We step on a pedestal because we actually have the true value. Our value is not fake makeup and put a waist trainer and bra. You know, my ex used to wear this thing to make. Come on, man, we're not doing none of that shit. We show up with real value. So we need to respect ourselves more. We need to understand the game. Pay attention to the woman's actions, her behavior, not her promises and shit like that. You know what I mean? I think the point I was making is I was dealing with some girl recently, and she was like making promises about how we were gonna link up and she was gonna come and see me, because I was telling her, look, I'm not trying to do this pen pal thing where we're just texting all the time. It's either we're gonna link up or it's gonna end. And this was going on for quite some time. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, the other day I was like, man, why am I like wasting my time with this girl? She's not gonna show up, and there's other girls that will show up. She needs to get cut. And the thing is, here's the thing, like, I'll cut these girls off because I know a lot of times they'll come back later, right? Not that I give a shit, but it's better for me to cut them off as a man and let them come back and accept my frame than to me to just stay in there and hope that she's gonna, nah, bro, I'm not playing that game. I used to play that game. It's not fun. I'm not playing that game, okay? A king would never do that. A king would not try to, oh yes, what can I do to get her? No, a king is a king, that's it. He is the prize. He is the reward. He holds the value, and that's the end of it. All right? So that's the advice for this video. If you'd like one-on-one coaching, hit me up. I have a new program called the Limitless Code. It's extremely powerful. It's basically me helping you to start doing the things that you know you need to do. It's not like you don't know what you need to do. There's certain things that you need to do that maybe bring up fear, bring up tension, bring up anxiety, whatever. I will come in as your accountability coach. I will hold you accountable to these things. I will be, you know, intense with it. Every single day I'll be reaching out to you, making sure you're taking action. I'll be on your side. I'll be pushing this energy, this vibe, this limitless code, this way of living into your life so you can make this transformation. okay? Because I'm living on this code. Every single day I'm facing my fears. Every single day I'm putting myself in challenge, and I'm evolving very rapidly. So I'm looking for other men who are interested in doing the same, because that was the whole point of me building this tribe, was to help inspire other men to become the best version of themselves. All right. So this coaching program, I set it up for any man that is committed to achieving, you know, some specific goal. It can be with women, of course, that's my specialty, but it can be with other stuff, right? It's just you making sure that you're taking consistent action on a daily basis to achieve your goals, right? And doing those things that are outside your comfort zone, right? But gradually doing it, building up, and you know, like if it's a big task, just build up to the task. Could break it up into small chunks. Okay, that's how I set up the program. You could do this stuff on your own, but if you like support, if you like help, reach out. I'll give you details on the program, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.